welcome to season 2 of The Check,
where we're checking out what's hot
and what's not. This is episode 2, and today we have a lot of gossip. Of course, you know that Freddie loves reality shows.
Some bochinche, some chisme.
Bochincho.
Yes, bochinche. But I want to get out the good stuff first. So let's talk about the events that are coming up, right? We have my labor of love, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. The Rocky Horror Picture Show opens on the weekend prior to Halloween. So that would be the 25th and the 26th. I could be wrong.
Save the date.
Save the dates.
Save the date.
Polk Theater is our host, so you want to contact the Polk Theater to get information about the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yes, they can go onto the Polk Theater website, and all of the information about the Rocky Horror Picture Show fundraiser event will happen. It is an amazing show. It's 18 years old. You're gonna have a blast. Please make sure you dress up and have a fabulous time because it's raising money for the arts.
Oof, that's amazing. So make sure you take all of your brillo clothes that you have in your closet, in the back of the closet, take it out, and for that day.
Yes, and the theme this year is burlesque.
Ooh.
So the Rocky Horror Burlesque Show is going to be super, super fierce. I want everybody to be there dressed up in their burlesque fabulousness.
Go Chicago style,
Chicago style. Give it up, give it up. And then also we have the Hispanic Festival that happens on the lake. It's the same week, I think, the same weekend. If you go online and just type in Lakeland Hispanic Festival, you Google it, it'll come up for 2024, and you'll get all of the dates. Please be ready to walk. It's an outdoor event.
And this year is going to be free, so there's no entry fee this year. It's going to be a lot of vendors, Puerto Rican food, Venezuelan food, I think it's Cuban food, a little bit of
Puerto Rican, Cuban, Dominican. Last year there was like mango. There was like so many different varieties of Latin food. So please make sure that you save the date on the Hispanic Festival. That is an annual event here in Lakeland and happens.
Eat 2 days before so you can eat at the Hispanic Festival.
Yes, and there's lots of music and dancing, and that is the sort of like to me, it's what I call like the who's who day of the Latinos in Polk County, where everybody comes out and does their walk around in their outfits, and you get to see people that you haven't seen in a really long time. So please make sure that you set the date for the Hispanic Festival.
I think this year is gonna be, I don't know if it's a merengue homenaje to all the orquestas.
What?
So that's gonna be good.
Oh, that's gonna be hot.
Yeah, make sure to have a little dancing on the floor.
Yes, and you'll see Omri and I are there. Omri is the coordinator and the curator of what is known as Rumba Fest.
Yes.
The first annual Rumba Fest happened here in Lakeland and was very successful. Congratulations.
This year, he was the host. It was amazing. We got a lot of great feedback, a lot of great talent and dancers that came from New York, Orlando, Tampa, from everywhere. It was amazing.
It was fantastic. But let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Of course.
Some gossip, okay? Let's start where I've got some stuff for everybody, you know. I want to talk about J-Lo. Let's go there. Let's go. Let's get into J-Lo. Let's get into J-Lo and the divorce.
Gosh, I feel for her. I feel
Everybody has something to say about Jennifer.
I feel for her.
Jenny from the block is getting attacked from all directions. They're like, what happened with Jennifer?
I feel for her. That's all I can say. She's still a human being. She's still a woman.
She's a fool for love.
Yeah, I'm always a woman team, and I know
she's a fool for love.
When we fell in love, you know, we do whatever it needs to.
But the thing was that she went back to the ex. Like, come on, let's go there. Let's talk about going back to the ex.
We believe
and if you expect it to be successful, you are a fool for love, because
could be.
It must have been so good that she had to go back, and then she realized that was how long ago was that? That was like 20 years ago.
Wait, what has to be so good? Let me go back to what.
The romance, the passion, el amor, the sex.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Was it that good? I don't know, because it's over now. What happened? Jenny, I want to know. I want to ask Jennifer Lopez, Mama, ¿qué pasó?
No, but again, I'm gonna.
People don't want to know. They want to make it up and be like, "Oh, it's all of this, it's all of that." It's what, like we said.
Did you hear Ben Affleck is already seeing this girl?
Yes. He didn't even wait until the bed was cold. He was like, "I'm gonna move on." The pillow was still with the dent in it y todo, and he was like, I'm gonna move on.
Didn't she do the same thing to Alex Rodriguez?
She did the same thing to Alex Rodriguez, yes. This is true. Karma does come around, but apparently for her, it came back around with some old man that she had from the past. Like, I'm like, okay, girl, you know, I am a fan of the Bennifer combination.
I do.
I was there, you know, the Jenny from the Block video when he kissed her butt on the boat. Everybody was like, oh, you know.
I know.
Like that, just the whole thing was like so historical.
Yep.
So, you know, some of my friends and my associates are like, oh, she was chiming in on the history of it. You know, she was trying to feed off of the history of it. I was like, I don't know. I think Jennifer is a fool for love.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business, so I do believe they did.
You think the brand, they were like doing the Bennifer thing again for a little bit? Okay.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, on her part, I do feel like she was really in love. And I do believe like this time she's suffering a lot. So
I don't know. I feel like she has a track record of like men that are just like, I don't know. They commit, but they can't commit. Like, it just seems like she has this history. She's got to work on it. She needs to do like
the positive. She's a powerful woman. She doesn't need up any men. She has her business of wine, her music.
That makes her want it even more, I'm sure. Yeah. The power and
it's amazing.
You need somebody to like tell you, like, you know, calm down. Because she's a lot.
I love that. No, I'm just gonna support the female part of it.
I'm here for the man telling her calm down, and her being like, I like that. You know, he's not feeding into the J-Lo thing. He knows this is Jennifer.
Could be. So
yeah, I'm here for it. Go J-Lo.
Jennifer.
We're gonna all pray for Jennifer. Hopefully she finds the one.
What else? What do you?
Because there's somebody out there for everybody. Okay, now we're gonna get into reality show tea.
On this part.
I'm obsessed with the Housewives brand. Okay, let's just go there. I'm obsessed with the Basketball Wives brand. Okay, Shannon Bedore from the Housewives of Orange County.
She's beautiful though.
God bless Miss Shannon Bedore. They are putting her through the ringer. The woman that is suing her is with the man that she was with.
Oh my goodness.
And then they're both suing her, and then she had a DUI.
Her ex is suing her?
Her ex is suing her with the new girlfriend who is making her life miserable. And then she got a little tipsy and she crashed her car, and they're making it out to be like she's a hot mess drunk.
I believe this is like real completely. Don't you think just a script?
There are parts of it that I do. These people cannot hide these things. Like, I just think it's hysterical because you have money and you live this life of lavishment, and it's on camera. The camera's following you around. There's like this editing, but you know, the producers want the juice. They want the good stuff. So you need to watch Housewives of Orange County.
I gotta catch up.
With Shannon Bedore.
I'm not big in reality.
When they said, Shannon Bedore, no more Shannon Bedore, I was like, she needs a t-shirt. She needs to market that. She'll become very wealthy, and the lawsuits will become a thing of the past because she'll have the no more Shannon Bedore.
What's the name of the reality?
The Housewives of Orange County.
The Housewife of Orange County. Okay.
Those are some old rich women, honey.
Rich.
The old money is the one that I love. And then there's young rich ones too, and they're cute, but I love a good Shannon Bedore. She's just, I'm here for Shannon. I'm here for Shannon. And then we're gonna go into now Basketball Wives.
Okay.
Evelyn and Jackie. Evelyn Lozada from the Bronx. She's a scandal.
I've heard of her.
So yes. She's now standing up against Jackie, who Jackie is NBA wife, like OG, like she was on the show from the beginning. Like, but Jackie's a little crazy. She's a little crazy. And Jackie now has made enemies of some of the other basketball wives. So they're kind of like now on Evelyn's side, where for a minute Evelyn was kind of like all over the place. So if you want to learn more, you need to watch Basketball Wives.
Too much drama for me.
You know, they're there for the drama. They've signed on for this, and you know, my sister and I are both obsessed. We watch constantly, and we fill each other in. Have you seen? Did you watch? And so the other day she was like, "Have you seen the blogs? Have you looked?" And I was like, "No, like, you know, I don't really follow the blogs of those shows. I just watch them."
Right.
Now I follow the blogs.
Another one has taken the bait.
Girl, the things that they say about these women on these blogs.
Do you think you will be able to do a reality show? Because I couldn't. I just can't.
I don't know that I would be able to handle the negativity. because it's a lot of negativity that they deal with.
I will be able to handle.
It's a lot of negativity.
They're following all the time. I just couldn't.
It's a lot of negativity.
Like my private time.
I mean, I'm not saying that I want everyone to like me, but I just feel that I definitely don't want to be hated, or some of the horrible things that are said on these blogs and on these posts are like, some of them are like, kill yourself, like you should just, like, it's really, really dark and really, really bad.
I think that for them to go to a show like that, they have to be prepared. I mean, and they will have to have some self-confidence and some...
I would think that you definitely need to be maybe told, or like the producers have to like prepare you for dealing with that level of just negativity, and there's a lot of it is super negative.
Not everyone is gonna like us. There's Hispanic Puerto Rican dicho que dice, yo no soy un billete de 100 para caerle bien a todo el mundo, which is true.
I love that
some
one.
People that are gonna like us. And
refranes. Y'all remember the refranes? We talked about that last season. Send us some refranes because we want to use the refranes.
Yes, so at the end of the day, you gotta be confident enough, because there's gonna be some people that are gonna love you and some people that are just gonna hate you just because.
Well, you know, that'll bring us to, let's talk about a book.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's
that
be educational.
That I love.
We're gonna talk about a book. So there's this author that has this book called The Courage to Be Disliked.
I read the introduction of that book. It's amazing.
The Courage to Be Disliked, honey. And I personally felt that when I was exposed to this book, I was like, what is this really about? It's about a lot.
Yeah.
It's about a lot of like, look inside of yourself. Look at yourself. Take a look at yourself.
I do believe she talks a little bit about self-confidence, self-discovery.
Yes.
How to, you know,
freedom
love yourself enough.
Through self-acceptance, living in the present, interpersonal relationships, separation of tasks. Like recognizing which tasks are yours and which belong to others.
Right. And which are you're good.
I gotta deal with that. Contribution to community. What?
That's really good, yeah.
I'm all over that. Courage to be disliked. Embrace the fact that not everyone will like you, and that's okay.
Just what we're talking about, yeah.
Change your narrative.
Yeah.
Sometimes the narrative that you have is not necessarily the truth. You're creating something based on what in the last episode we talked about, wanting to have something be right or wrong and blaming. And I was like, that was a really good point that Chrissy made. And so for me, I encourage people to read this book. I think that it's a really, really great piece of writing.
What's the name of it again?
The Courage to Be Disliked. The author is Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitaki Koga. For my little Japanese, being able to say the names properly, because I was in Japan for like a whole 6 days.
Say it again.
Let's go there. Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitaki Kogo. Get it? The Courage to Be Disliked.
So talking about the courage of being disliked, what do you feel and think when you hear that title? I do believe that when we talk about a book, the name of the book is very powerful, and I think it tells you just the start of the story. So when you hear that name, what do you think? What do you feel?
The word courage stands out to me the most. I think that the book is challenging you to look at yourself from a different perspective, because I think that being courageous sometimes means that you have to almost step outside of your own fears. And so sometimes me personally, as a dance teacher, as a sort of, you know, life coach to young people, who I tell them all the time, I'm like, you can do this, you know, like I have to encourage them to find the courage to step outside of their comfort zone or their fears. I think a lot of times in this, and especially in this day and age with social media and everyone, like, you know, picture, a lot of appearance. There's people on there that kind of like, you know, put a thumbs down on your post, or will say something or do something that will make you be like, oh my God, and get really upset about it. Some people go as far as even interacting with the person and telling them to take it down, or, you know, to me, it's like, you gotta have the courage to just kind of accept that and know that, you know,
not everyone is gonna love you.
Not everyone is gonna love you, and you know, we don't fit into every pair of shoes, as my grandmother would say. Just, you don't fit into everything, so
I agree.
Stop trying to squeeze yourself into spaces and things that are not for you.
On my part, when I hear about a title like that, it's just like more self-experiment, you know? There's some times that we don't know some parts of ourselves. That's why we hesitate when someone tells us that they don't like something about us. That's where we just get like a little scared or frustrated because we don't know that part of ourselves. The moment that we learn to love ourselves and to know all those little parts, like I think tú vas a estar feliz cuando tú digas, yo me amo como yo soy. Every little inch of you need to accept the good things, the bad. When that happens, that's the courage that you're gonna have. And when someone tells you that they don't like you, they don't love you, or they can just not. When someone tells you that, is either they have their own thing going on, or they just don't have enough for you to be happy. And that's okay. We are a lot. And we should. What we receive, it should be allowed, and that's okay. So the moment that you know that and you feel that way, I think that's where you're at. The courage to be decided. To be fine.
Definitely takes courage.
Yeah.
It takes courage to be your authentic self, to be comfortable with who you are as a person and not feed into judgment or commentary. Because it seems like nowadays, especially with this, everybody has something to say.
It's difficult, but not impossible, especially if you love yourself. So we're going to take a little break, and we have a little surprise when we come back.
Yes, we'll be back to talk about more books.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Hello guys, we're back with these two beautiful ladies, the owner of, I'm gonna give you the honor of saying the name of your company.
The Mothership Imprint.
The Mothership Imprint. What's your name?
My name is Jessica Rios.
And yours?
I'm Ilea Green.
Okay, so they're gonna tell us a little bit of how this project started. I personally want to know. I've heard amazing things. Freddie has given me so many information. And I just want to know every little detail because I'm a woman and I do believe on supporting other women's business. I've been confused or told or said that I'm a feminist, but I do believe in female power, right? And I know that you guys have a concept that are very similar to that. So I want to know, tell me about the project.
Yeah, we also believe in female power a lot. Jess and I actually met in 2018. I had been working on the concept of the Lakeland Women's Collective, which was set up to be a feminist organization in Lakeland that was kind of not through traditional, like, scary feminism. Like, we were trying to, like...
What do you mean by scary?
Well, I think when people think about feminists, they think anger, we hate men, we, you know, we're all lesbians, like that kind of thing, right? And that's not true. I mean, you know, that was the whole goal originally, was for us to get Lakeland to understand that feminism doesn't have to be scary, and it's really about empowering not only women, it's empowering people who are disenfranchised, who are historically oppressed, right? So I had actually started that project in 2017 with a local artist. Her name is Sunny Valiette. She is brilliant. She's been a Lakeland artist for a long time. I think she graduated from Harrison, which is a local arts-centered high school. And she's also the founder of Volume Art Collective. And she created the Women's Collective logo, and she was really instrumental in the first couple of weeks. And we didn't realize that Sunny, and that we were both friends with Sunny, Sunny. And I told Sunny, we were starting to grow, but I wanted us to get more growth because I really also felt like we were not really getting to a demographic of women who were diverse enough. So I said,
just about that. I'm glad that you said it.
Yeah. So Sunny was like, I know another feminist who's an artist. You guys have to meet. I was like, okay, great. And so we did.
Yeah, so we met in 2018, and I came on as the social media manager of the Lakeland Women's Collective. And we learned that we were both Pisces Sun and USF graduates, and basically we're like, okay, we're officially besties moving forward.
And have been.
Yes. So ever since then, we've just been creating businesses and art together, and really feminist, art-centered safe spaces has been the goal. So in 2020, we were basically kind of depressed during the pandemic. Obviously, that was a terrible time. And so we were trying to be creative to kind of get out of this funk that we were in. And I don't know whose idea it was, but we were like, let's write 12 fuckboy haiku. And then a couple of hours later, we had this book that we wanted to self-publish, which is how we started looking into how to self-publish our own book.
Yeah. So the book is Fuckboy Haiku, an astrological perspective. We can, absolutely.
An astrological perspective.
Right. So we represent each of the signs, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, really, we were drinking rosé and eating cheese, and we were like, let's do this. And at the end, we thought maybe we should make a book. And then we even had the conversation: what if nobody likes it? It's that imposter syndrome, right? We're like, really, should we make this into a book? Is it really going to be that big of a deal? And then we decided it doesn't actually matter if anybody buys the book. Like, we needed to make something, and not only, leave a legacy, which, my kids actually do know about the title of this book. They don't really know what it means yet, hopefully. Right. Yeah. Well, they're proud, right? They're like, oh, my mom's an author. And I'm like, don't tell them the name of the book. Right.
Question. What do you tell to those women out there that they think they can write a book, but they don't feel like a feminist? Should they feel afraid to come to you guys and say, hey, I have this idea? Because, there's this bad concept about being a feminist. I'm kind of saying.
So, I'm not a feminist.
And they don't feel confident enough to come to these two amazing women that have done an amazing book and has this amazing company, because they think it's just for
feminists.
Sure.
So the Mothership Imprint is a feminist independent publishing house, and we want to help self-publishers who use their artistry as a form of resistance. And one of our biggest goals is that we want to combat the fact that the publishing industry is over 75% white.
Yes.
And so, yes, we want women to come to us, but we really want to help women, people of color, gay people, like the amazing person next to me, Freddie, who's one of our clients, who, have these amazing stories to tell, but maybe they don't know where to start. And so we're feminists in that we want to, how Leah mentioned before, we want to help with groups of people that are normally considered to be oppressed or marginalized, because Black and brown people, up until we had access to smartphones, it was really hard for Black and brown people to self-publish. Because like anyone else, like us, we were like, well, how do you even start the process of self-publishing? So,
And we got through that part, and then we thought, this really isn't hard to do, but there's a lot of details, and you need to do them in a certain order. And that's actually how the Mothership was born. We thought, there are other creatives, women, people of color, LGBTQA authors that could use our help, but most importantly, and this is a big tenet of what we're trying to do with the Mothership, is to create a safe space for people to be their authentic selves. And I think that is a big part of feminism that people don't talk about, right? Like, real inclusive feminism really makes space for everyone. And it makes sure that there's equity. It makes sure that everyone has a seat at the table. That again, it's not just women or it's not just white women, right? It needs to be all people have access to the table and all people have access to the opportunity to publish a book and share their stories. And we think that in order to really be a feminist indie organization that helps people through the self-publishing process, that it's important that we're feminist because we create that safe space, that safe container, and that opportunity to be authentic creates real authentic stories from people, right? And so we're not telling people what they need to say or how they need to, like, they need to do this or they need to do that. We meet people where they are. We put into them the confidence that what they have to share is important for the world. We think that's feminist, right? And so from there, we help people through the publishing process. And not only is it exciting for us, but it's also important because we don't, as another part of what we think is feminist, we don't hold on to the masters and we don't get any revenue from the book sales.
Yeah.
So all the work goes back to the original artist, the author, or, you know, we also work with artists who are specifically not necessarily publishing like prose, but maybe poetry or something else. And every dollar that is any type of revenue that comes in goes directly to the artist. And that's important. We think that's a feminist act by saying you've created something incredible and it's very authentically you and yours, and you should get every single dollar that comes in for that book. And so we think that's what makes the Mothership feminist, but also really accessible for creatives and people who are not really sure that they believe what they've done or want to share is worthy, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I think imposter syndrome is...
Give them an opportunity for self-expression.
Absolutely.
Space.
Absolutely.
Did you guide them through the whole process, the writing, the rewriting, everything?
Yeah. Freddie can actually attest to that. He's been through the whole process with us. We're currently in the digital design phase of the book. And so we've been through the writing and the rewriting and the editing. And it's just been such an honor to work with Freddie because, as you know, he's really special. And he is. And we feel so, blessed is, I think, an overused word a lot, but I don't know if that's the best word to describe it, but it's really an honor to be able to.
It's been a great journey, the whole experience. I would like to say that first off, when you're doing something like writing a book, or you're kind of like, you're shopping around to figure out, like, where do I fit in terms of how am I going to do this, and for me it was ultimately about how I felt when I was in the meeting with whomever was going to publish. There was no meeting. Everything is online now. Everything is like a stranger is reaching out to you and just rambling off all of this information and all of this really sort of cold stuff. And I'm a writer, so I come from a space of interact with another writer, talking to people, like a human contact. And so that was the first point of contact, was when we actually sat and talked. From that moment forward, it's been awesome, the whole experience. From my re-edits and my multiple re-edits, because I had to re-edit on the re-edit on the edit, and then from choosing my book cover and getting an artist to make my book cover, and for me being able to just kind of siphon through so much of the material and not feeling pressured to be perfect or to be what in my own mind was like, well, this is not good enough, I thought, is this good enough? And then the encouragement that I got was like, exactly what I needed, because it wasn't a sales pitch. It was encouragement. It was real. It was real encouragement. And they really read the book. They really read my information and shared back with me points that, like, maybe this fits here and this fits there, because it's a big puzzle. You're putting together a puzzle, especially in a memoir, which is what I'm doing. I'm doing a memoir. So I had to timeline, and you get confused. You know, you go back and you're like, wait a minute, when did this happen? And how did this happen? And it mattered, but it also didn't matter. What really mattered was me talking about how those moments made me feel. And when they brought that to my attention, they were like, yeah, that matters, but also doesn't matter. What really matters is that you're saying what you want to say. And I thought, I gotta look at this from a whole different angle. I gotta stop trying to be so perfect and stop trying to gatekeep my own life and allow myself to be a little bit more open with the idea of these women sort of leading me through this process and this experience. And yeah, I'm not a woman, but I'm definitely in a feminist category. I'm definitely a marginalized human. I'm definitely someone who has had a lot of trials and tribulations, and now I'm able to tell my story. And I felt like that's what they were really about, or selling, was that the truth and my truth, and me being able to express that. And we're gonna do more books. We have so many plans for things to accomplish, but I also felt that the connection as Latinos, and the cultural connection as Latinos, and the cultural connection of us being a little nerdy and intellectual was also something that I felt was a great bond for us as someone that I was looking to work with. And I thought, you know what, this is a good fit, and this is what I want. And that feeds into, you know, so many parts of our creative selves, since all of us are creative. But I think that when you're creative in the sense of when you've been going it alone and you find other sources that are willing to really support and nurture that experience.
Change your vibe, like people say.
The vibe is very important. It changes everything.
A few questions. We all know that writing a book is not an easy task. It's a process. It's a long process. What can you tell to that person that has this journal full of stories, and they want to tell a story, but they don't feel confident enough to go to you guys, for example?
I think it starts with what it is exactly that you want to share, because a lot of times as creatives, the work is already done. But we have so much of it that a lot of times we don't know where to start. So I think that for us, one of the important things to tell people is to just write the story, and you can start to figure out the details later on. Like, how do I want to publish this? Is it going to be digital only, or is it even any good? It's just keep going. Just create things, and then later on you can sit down with someone, us, on the outside looking in, and be like, okay, so this is great. Like when Freddie came to us, were you even planning on having it be like a poetry anthology series?
No.
Okay, so Freddie came to us and he had like, how many journals do you have? Like 12
minimum.
Every meeting.
Minimum.
Every meeting, Freddie would bring us a new journal, and I was starting to get really nervous because I was like, oh my god, this is his whole life story right here in front of me. Like, if something happens to these books, this is gonna be terrible. But he wasn't planning on including his poetry in the book. But for us, we just feel like it made so much sense to include it as part of this amazing story that Freddie's telling. So that's like, Freddie's project is one of the perfect examples of the things we want to create. You know, it fell into place, and it's such a multifaceted story that he's telling that we really love this idea of including like a memoir with other written type of work.
So talking about books, what is your favorite book personally?
Wow. After our own individual book?
Yes, of course.
Which is pretty great.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I love The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho.
Yes.
Every time I read that book, I get something different out of it. And I have
agree.
I have probably purchased at least 15 copies in my life, and every single one I give away.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so amazing about it, is that it's hit me at such a core to my being that I'm like, you have to read this. Like, I just give it away all the time. Even one of my old jobs, for Christmas one year, I gave all my coworkers a copy, and I was like, they're like, okay, what's this book? I was like, no, you really need to read it. It's amazing. I'm so glad that you read it too.
I love it. I think I have that one, and he has two more, which is Me senté a las orillas del río y lloré. That one's one of him too that I love. And then he has El monje que robó mi Ferrari, which is another book that he has. He's amazing. He's one of the greatest, best writers ever. He has
the translation. Oh my gosh. The way that he says things, it sounds like music.
I know.
To your soul.
Oh, it's like a lyric, right?
Yeah, it really does. It really does. I love that book.
So lyrics and poetry.
Yeah.
You guys are also the curators of poetry slams, local poetry slams.
Yes.
I signed up.
Yes, you did, and I'm really excited to see what you're going to read.
Poetry slam is happening on...
So the next Poetry Salon is on September 12th at 7 p.m. We're going to start with a reading hour. So we're asking people to bring their favorite book, and we're unplugging from our devices for one straight hour. Then at 8, we will be doing a dance session. And then at 9 is our open mic.
Yeah. I'm so excited. And we're first one. So.
Oh, good. That's awesome.
I'm really proud of you to have the courage to go up there.
Right. So we're actually also going to have a raffle. We'll be giving away a copy of our book. And we have this really cute tote, which unfortunately I do not have. But we're also going to give away one of the totes. But you have to be there to be entered into the raffle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And any information that you need about Mothership Imprint, we'll have it on our page. You can look us up on the check on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We've got plenty of links. But we are so excited and honored that you guys were here with us today.
And I know this is like a little bit longer, but I still have a few questions. My favorite book you have.
Okay. Okay, so right now I really love Maya Angelou poetry. It's
my favorite book. It's the funniest thing. I have the book with all of her poems. And I have part of I Rise poem tattooed on my back. That's a
really
poem.
Yes, that's awesome.
Yes,
that's awesome.
So right now, that's
which one is your favorite poem?
My favorite poem. That's tough. I don't know. She has so many amazing ones. Obviously, Phenomenal Woman is like one of the best ones, and I like a lot of her short poems too. Yeah, they're just like simple and short and sweet. So I can't pick just one.
I know. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys know already, if you have that passion to write and you feel insecure and you feel like this community doesn't support you for any reason, you feel you have no resources, these are the ladies to call. They're amazing. I do feel an amazing energy with them, so that's good. I can tell you that's good already. And I can't wait to read that book.
I like it.
Yes.
So, we had a lot of fun.
12th is
September 12th. Yes.
Anything else you want to tell all about people that they don't understand what feminist is about, and the people that do know about it?
How can they connect with you?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a link tree that has all of our important links, and our handle on all social media is at the Mothership Imprint.
And why did you call it the Mothership Imprint?
Ooh,
that is a good question.
Okay, so
that also happened over rosé, I think. I mean, the pandemic was hard. Okay. So that was part of our survival.
Yeah.
I don't really remember how we came up with the name.
Leah came up with the name technically. I do remember that, but we wanted the name to represent something that people would hear and they would know that they would be accepted there. So what do you think of? Like, your mother.
Yes.
The mothership.
And home base. Home base. I think was also a really important thing. Just to answer your question about feminism, there's a lot of white violent feminism in the world and also here in this town. And we know that and unfortunately had experienced that firsthand with the organization that we created. And we had to go through a whole revamp at the beginning and middle of the pandemic because it was violent and it was important that we made it really clear not only in that organization in terms of how we met, and I do count Jess as a co-founder because without her being present, we would not have been what we became with the Women's Collective, and it was so instrumental for everything that we've done since. She has been so instrumental that I thought it was really important that as part of our rebrand, that Jess and I that I was not the founder, but that Jess and I were co-founders, because yes, I started it, but it really wasn't itself until we got over that hump and we started over, and together we created something that was really, inclusive and really anti-racist and very feminist in a way that was inclusive of everyone, not just white women.
So it's important to just make it vocally known that we're feminists because of all of the things, the atmosphere that we're living in currently in this country. So, yeah.
Thanks so much for having us.
Cheers.
Thank you guys
for being here. Cheers. Thank you.
Guys are amazing, and here you have it. Hopefully you guys can feel inspired and change your opinion about feminism and just get a little bit of love. You have 4 people that just have love to give. So this is a wrap, right?
Rock and roll.
Because
keep checking us out on Check, where we're checking out what's hot
and what's not.
And this book is definitely hot.
Get it.
Fuckboy Haiku. Make sure you learn about that.
Union. Oh, yes.
Come to the Poetry Slam.
Yes.
I'll be there. Bye.
We'll be there.